Good morning. I am Coach Gwen, and we're here with Coach Sheena from Beyond the Box Nutrition, and we are thrilled to have Katie, who has been one of my clients for the past 8 to 9 months, and I don't even know where to start because she went through so much and persevered and stayed committed to the process of getting healthier and changing her body composition, and just so thrilled to have her on to talk about her journey and how she made it through her journey so far. And I think where I'd like to start, Katie, is one of the things that happens in perimenopause and menopause with a lot of women is they're eating clean, they're going to the gym, they're walking their dog like you do, they're doing everything right. And sometimes it's hard to get the results you're looking for. And I know that was the case when you came to me. So tell me a little bit about what that frustration felt like and what led you to reach out in the first place.
Sure, thank you. I mean, I think the biggest thing is and Gwen, I think you can attest to this. I was working just so hard. I
Mhm.
was working out a ton, and I wasn't eating badly. In fact, I was doing lots of things right. I know how to eat, but my formula, um, often had me eating too little, or then being starving and eating too much.
Mhm.
And so my weight started swinging a lot, over a couple years, and my body just changed. Like, what I was used to working, um, over the past, 10 years just stopped working, and I just ended up very frustrated, and
Mhm.
seeking solutions.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that's really common too, is that our bodies do change when the hormonal shifts start to occur. Um, what do we call it, Sheena? Sometimes we call it hormones or the hormonal.
Hormones, yes.
And there are so many things changing, and that usually leads to us needing to change our eating, our exercise, and not knowing what that is. So one of the things you mentioned, Katie, was kind of eating less or having these swings in calories. And that's also a really common thing too, where women may not see results, and what they'll do is they'll go deeper into a calorie deficit. They think, "Oh, let me just slash the calories and then let me work out a little harder." And that backfires in most cases because our body needs the right amount of fuel, the right amount of food to get through our daily living activities, our exercise, etc. And so when I said to you, which say to many clients who are under eating, let's increase your calories a little bit and see what we call that reverse dieting. And it was about your body kind of getting out of that adaptation and holding on to stored fat. What did that feel like when I said, let's bump your calories a little bit?
I mean, it's super scary, and I think that part of the scary piece of it was that, I had gotten really, faulty advice, and so while I had been eating, I would say very on par with the amount of protein I'm eating now,
Mhm.
in this period of not knowing what to do, I had been advised to take my calories down,
Mhm.
significantly, like to 1,200 calories,
Mhm.
from a trusted resource, and
Mhm.
I was told to significantly reduce protein to under 100 grams, and
Mhm.
so I ended up in this deficit place, not because sort of my own volition or my own decision making, but, I was seeking answers,
Mhm.
and I was told, "Hey, you're just eating too much." And so my answer became, "Okay, I need to eat less. I need to exercise more.
Mhm.
Um, I just need to work harder." And so to hear "No, no, no, you're actually not eating enough," was on one hand really gratifying, okay, I knew it, I knew I wasn't eating enough. On the other hand, super frustrating that, see, I knew that too. I knew that too. I knew this advice was wrong. but I trusted it enough that
Mhm.
I did it. I will also say because of my age stage, I I started adulthood in that place of, eating less is more.
Mhm.
Starvation is the best way. The more exercise, the better.
Yeah.
And so that's a hard, that's a hard, hill to get over when that
Mhm.
is so ingrained, in my brain.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you're not the
absolutely.
only one, right? Like that messaging is for all of us, right? Like we all grew up with that. Like we're still regardless of our age, like I mean there's messaging to teenagers still, like female teenagers now, right? That it's like less is more, less is more. And it's sad like we want to break that cycle. I always come back to like the two A's there we just said like we've got like is it are you eating an appropriate amount of fuel, right? Has your body adapted to that amount, right? And are we getting adequate fueling, right? And most of the time, the answer is no, right? Like we don't have appropriate and adequate. And the levels for each individual, especially females, are going to be different. So, like, we have that blanket 1,200 calorie number for every female of every size, of every, differing, like, whatever your exercise routine looks like. And it's just, yeah, that messaging is really hard. And it kind of sounds like there was a little bit of I had it too, the white coat syndrome where a doctor was telling you, or somebody on a that you respect is telling you you have to eat less and but then your instincts are battling that and it's like gosh like that is such a battle and like of course your body is kind of going to be in a little bit of chaos because you've got instincts that are telling you no but a authority figure telling you yes and it's just like you're left to of course you're left to yo-yo because it's like there's no like like trusted path. um
100%, and it was a doctor, it was a white coat, and it was a woman my age, and so, like,
oh
I mean, Gwen knows this, like, my response was, like, I just burst into tears in the office. I was like, "I just don't think that this is right," and they were so sure of themselves, and so, "No, no, this is where you are in life, like, you just need to eat less," and I was like, "Oh, okay," and in my brain, I had stopped running. And so it was like, okay, well, maybe if since I'm not running, this is appropriate, like
Mhm.
that I'm metabolizing different. So it was a very hard adjustment.
Mhm. Yeah, and then I mean, this like Sheena said, it doesn't matter what your age, it's still happening today. So what was the thing that allowed you because I know initially, it you weren't seeing the scale move, your body composition was changing, and there was some resistance to increasing the calories. And you did it. You eventually started and I will say to everybody listening, this is not doubling your calories. This is not being irresponsible. This is very strategically based on your level of activity, your age, your medical history, your dieting history, getting you to an appropriate level, like Sheena said. So,
mhm.
what kind of got you over that hump while you were waiting to see the results?
I mean, I think that as trite as it seems, like I just had to trust the process. Like I
Uh-huh.
trusted you. I trusted, and I will say, like what I was doing was not working.
Mhm.
And so I think, it was as much like what I'm doing, what, I've been trying is not working. So let me try something different. Let me go back to like and it was not just calories that I really didn't focus on calories. I focused on protein and macros.
Mhm.
And so still like I have to sort of check myself at the end of the week. I'm still, using chronometer and I'll go in the end of the week. Even when I feel like, you know what, like I feel like I'm eating a lot, I'll go
Mhm.
in and go, you know what, for the week or 2-week period, like actually, like I'm not, like I'm under or, like I'm dead on or whatever it is. Like I like that as a check to my
Mhm.
brain. That's always telling me, like eat less.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, and I will say, like, Katie's like this wonderful example of she did use Chronometer, which is the tracking program that she works and we typically recommend. It allowed her to take like, you would think it makes you hyper focused and you're only looking at calories eaten. And what she did, she reframed that and was focusing on protein because she knew that was the way to build muscle, change her body composition, look leaner, feel better in her clothes. She focused on fiber, and it was also reinforcement. Hey, I am eating clean. Like, I
Mhm.
would look at her food diaries and I'm like, this is incredible. Like, she was doing great things. Now, I'll also say I encouraged her, like when she went to New York City, she had a trip and maybe she had a meal out at a restaurant. So this isn't about restriction, and that's something we also worked on. It was being flexible. She also went on a trip to Africa recently with her family, and the food that was served was beautiful. She showed me some pictures, and it became about eating with her family and eating healthy foods. It wasn't about counting macros. And I think sometimes people think they're going to get more immersed into diet culture if they track, and it's actually an empowering tool for
Mhm.
you to go back, just like you said. And I looked, and you went back 2 weeks and said, "No, I'm fine. Everything is great." And it's more empowering than restricting. What Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been tracking for so many years that it doesn't bother me, and it's a really nice I for me, it's about eating enough. And
Mhm.
so it's the exact opposite rather than being restrictive. It tells me, "Oh, no, no, like, go, like, eat dessert." Like, "No, no, you actually can have something else." Like,
Mhm.
so just the opposite of being restrictive, the tracking helps me counterbalance those voices and say, "No, no, no, like, actually, like, you're doing great."
Mhm.
Um, I think we do travel a lot, and, um, I think, Gwen, what you're hinting at is, like, really just sort of leaning into being intuitive about it and knowing, with macros, like, what's the combo? Like, right? What is, like, Um, my thing has never been about leaning into the breadbasket, but, like, like, leaning more to vegetables and fish where I'm really happy and stick with that when you're traveling, you're just good and not worrying about it.
Yeah, that's great advice, Katie. I think when people travel or they're on vacation or they have a business trip, they think all bets are off. And well, I can't track the foods. I was at a restaurant. I don't know how to track it. And just simplifying it and saying, let's just lean into the vegetables and fish. I'm getting protein and some vegetables. And then using your intuition, that's what this is all about. That's a tool. Chronometer is a tool, and tracking your
Yeah.
food so that you can create that flexibility and feel like you have some freedom. And it allows you to trust yourself in those situations when, like, I know you went out to dinner in Chicago at this great restaurant, and I think there was a dessert, and you shared it with the table, and you felt fantastic, and it was like, it was so delicious, and there was no shame or guilt. That's what this is about, you know? Um,
I would say the other big shift, um, over the period, really, like, I had been playing with it before I met you, Gwen, but certainly once I met you, I, like, really sort of doubled down. I stopped drinking. Like, I think that, like, I can't emphasize enough, like, what a big deal that's been, and I can't say, like, it's not like I've gone cold turkey. I still enjoy a glass of wine or a martini every once in a while, but it went from, I think that COVID really, it changed my drinking habits at the same time as I was going sort of starting this perimenopausal period in my life.
Mhm.
And and I was very happy drinking wine and even drinking wine by myself, and, while I have never had an alcohol problem per se, I definitely had a feeling that, you know what, like, I'm just drinking too much. Like, I feel for me, I'm drinking too much, and it
Mhm.
doesn't need to be an every night thing, even if it's just 1 glass of wine. And so suddenly, like, I started playing with this, like, what if I just took a month off and it would be no problem? And and then I
Mhm.
would start again. And then I kept doing that, sort of increasing frequency to the point where I was like, if I can just, like, stop cold turkey, and I'm not missing it, by the way, like, at all.
Mhm.
I'm finding really lovely substitutes of having a seltzer at 5 o'clock in the evening in a wine glass, like, that's okay.
Mhm.
Um, that why can't I make the wine or the cocktail the exception, and
Mhm.
instead quenching my thirst with water or seltzer or, even treating myself with a mocktail, and I feel like that has made such a big difference with my eating as well, because as soon as I start drinking wine, I feel a little out of control, right? Like,
Mhm.
it just lowers that barrier of, to, like, overeating,
Mhm.
as
Yeah.
opposed to feeling very intentional about what's going in my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up because I feel like and Sheena, you'll probably have some things to say about this too, but it's very common if people are not if they're kind of at a plateau in their weight loss and I never tell people to not drink at all. I want them to like kind of go create that journey on their own and make that decision on their own. And it is one of the things that if you moderate that a little more, you're likely going to see results faster. And as we get into peri and menopause, it, affects how our um, hormones are, the detoxing process in your liver. And we don't want to overburden our liver when going through that. It's just making things harder. And I think a lot of people when they think about not drinking, they think, "Oh, it means I can never have one." And I just wanna reinforce what Katie said, is that Sheena and I are big believers in flexibility. It's not about restriction. She used her intuition. She tried a couple of different scenarios where maybe she didn't drink for a month, and she will periodically have a martini or a glass of wine. And that is what it's all about, right? Is just experimenting with different types of scenarios and seeing what works for you. And it doesn't mean you can never have it again. So I think that's really helpful because people are often in that situation. Sheena, do you have a comment about that?
No, yeah, I think it's wonderful. I'll just echo what you said as to like, we never I think the second you or I were to tell someone, "Hey, stop drinking," immediate like you're not people will listen, but like there's also kind of that pushback of like, "Don't tell me what to do." Right? Like you it has to that decision has to come from you and it has to come from an experience where it's like because your why for not having as many drinks has to be your own. It has to be felt by you, right? And it was clearly something that you discovered and um I love that you still will allow yourself that occasional thing. I think the second that we're like, no, I'm never doing it again, obviously, alcoholism is a different story, but for you to allow yourself to have wine or whatever as a treat every now and every now and then is different for everybody, right? Like sometimes it's like, oh, I had one drink this week. Like that's a huge accomplishment. Like, or maybe like your situations and like your life doesn't call for you to have another one for another 3 weeks. And it's like, oh, great, I'm going to enjoy it on July 4th or whatever. So I think that's great and like not putting yourself into a box of like I'm not having a drink ever again, but also being like I'm in control of when I choose to have it
Mhm.
is that's the message. Like that's the key point to pick up there. And it's when you become kind of like a victim to the habit of alcohol, that's I think where that issue comes in, right? Where it's like it's 5 o'clock. I should have a glass of red wine in my hand. Like, why?
100%. It's
Right.
such a habit. It's such
Hmm.
a
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and I love this. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Sheena.
no, I think like for most people too, like that as coaches, like that becomes a difficult conversation for us because it's like, why do you need the glass of wine at 5 o'clock? Or why do you need the glass of wine at 9? Like it's not helping you sleep. We know that you think it is, but it's not. So like what's going on? Like why do you need this external thing to help you de-stress or recover or whatever? Because that kind of then Gwen and I get like inserted into your life in a way that's like a little bit more personal, right? But it's like we're health and nutrition coaches and like people are like, why am I talking to you about why I can't go to sleep at night? But it's a part of the piece, it's a part of the
Yeah.
puzzle, right? And it is something to just kind of at least we ask the question and then it's like, oh yeah, why is that the case? Like why is it at 5 o'clock I need wine to relax? Like that just and if that's
Mhm.
something you don't want in your life, then let's figure out what we can do instead, right? Or why that's the case and address it and go forth from there. So yeah.
Um, Gwen, the other thing you mentioned was the scale. I and you and I, like, have had conversations around this a lot. Like, I hate the scale, and so I still don't get on the scale. Like, I just sort of refuse to do it. Um, I have a really hard relationship with it, and I find it does not improve my mood. It does not whatever it says. Like, it's not a good reinforcement. of good behavior for me. Um,
Right.
and and so just going back to something you said earlier, like what I focused on was, and you know this, like you know what, I'm going to use my clothes as my barometer, and I'm going to
Mhm.
take pictures, and I'm going to let that those hard facts
Yep.
determine, like, okay, like say to, allow myself to go, okay, like you're doing fine, like you're doing fine.
Mhm. Yes. Oh, Katie, thank you for bringing that up because I think we all have I'm not even going to say a love-hate relationship. I'm going to say a hate relationship with the scale. And, you know, you don't have to get on the scale. That's the thing. And that's exactly what Katie did. She has, a beautiful closet of clothing. I remember she told me this story. She put on a dress. I don't remember how deep into the relationship, but her husband came in. I think they were going to a wedding and she had this dress on and he was like, "Yes, wear that."
Aw.
And she was so excited about how she felt in the dress. And then there was another time she went to New York and she tried on a pair of pants. I think they were white leather pants, maybe, if I'm remembering.
No, oh god, no, no, not white leather, no.
Not leather? Okay.
They were they are linen.
Okay.
In fact, it was funny when I was getting dressed, I'm like, "I should wear those pants today." No, but they're a size 0, and I was like, "You know what? It's been a minute." Like, it's been a minute since
Yeah.
I could, put on a pair of zeros, and that they would fit.
Aw.
Right. Well, and what I pointed out was she told me she felt fantastic in these pants. And then the clerk told her they're a size 0.
Wow.
So I think this is just really something to emphasize is it's back to being intuitive and tuning into your body and finding ways to measure progress that work for you. And you didn't even know what size they were. You felt
No,
good with them
didn't.
before you knew.
Mhm.
And that's what we want people to do if they choose to get on the scale to measure progress. Like, how do you feel in your body? Like, do you have more energy? Is your mood improved? Are your clothes fitting better? It's about your body composition changing. It is not about the number on the scale. And Katie lifts weights, right? She is building muscle. So she might lose 3 pounds of fat and gain 3 pounds of
Yeah.
muscle.
I mean,
The
I
scale
I don't
hasn't changed.
I don't think the scale has still changed that much. I mean, I think that my expectations of losing weight based on, like, where I was previously in my life for a particular size was out of tune with this age stage, and so, like, my expectation of, like, I should be here, like, well, I don't know why I'm not
Mhm.
whatever, pounds on the scale. I still don't, like, I don't weigh that much less than I did when I started. However, I
Right.
look significantly different and my clothes feel very different.
There you go. That's it right there, right?
You
You're
wouldn't
you
change
reclaim
your
your body.
yeah. I was gonna say, you wouldn't
And
change your current body composition for a lower number on the scale, is what I'm hearing. Like, if you had to trade one or the other, right? It's like you take your current body composition over a skinnier version of yourself. Yeah.
Definitely.
yes.
Which
And she also did progress pictures very, consistently. That was part of her progress check. And she sent an update yesterday, maybe knowing that we were meeting today.
Totally.
And she said, "I'm definitely looking leaner." And that is so refreshing because one of her first comments when we first started working together, and I was asking her to eat more, and it was probably really uncomfortable for her in many ways. She said, "I feel like this is a battle I'm never going to win." And I don't know if you remember saying that, Katie.
I don't remember specifically, but I was super frustrated. I was very frustrated.
Yeah.
And there were things that were just out of my control. And um sort of in the middle of this journey, Gwen, I had surgery, and I felt like that made such a huge difference as well.
Mhm.
In terms of how I was feeling. Like, I just didn't particularly feel well when I started with you.
Right.
So, like, getting through, like, I feel like it was all sort of part and parcel, getting to this point.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, and, Katie did go through quite a few things. It was, travel, her surgery, and that also required her to change. She, couldn't exercise for several weeks. And for someone who is very consistent, with even walking her dog and getting to the gym and lifting weights, um, it shifted things. And, how did you get to the point where you kind of used your post-surgery recovery as a deload and how you got through that? If you could tell everybody, because I know that can be a mindset thing too.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
mean,
struggle.
I had a hysterectomy, and so I wasn't allowed to lift, and I really wasn't allowed to exercise other than walk.
Wow.
Mhm,
And so I walked. I couldn't walk the dog for the first couple weeks, because, the fear was that she would pull on me. Um, I would say I just walked. Like, I think that that was um, my my modus operandi for that period was like, okay, if I can't do the rest, like I'm just for my brain as much as anything else, I'm going to walk as much as possible. Fortunately, the weather was starting to turn, and like whether I had to layer up or, whatever, I'm just going to walk. I also will say I was very tuned into my body and like what it needed during that period, and I just knew I needed to rest more. And
Mhm.
so it went, like the period of time that was like, the most restrictive was the first couple weeks.
mhm,
Like, just sort of leaned into it and said, like, I'm just gonna be here because I really just want to take care of myself. And so it went quickly. Um, Also, I will say, I have a really fantastic daughter, and right before I had surgery, she forced me to start to go to a needlepoint class with her. And so rather than exercising, I actually ended up needlepointing for like that period. I'm still needlepointing,
Nice.
but
mhm.
like needlepoint and exercising my brain in that way really helped me with the other. And like that's where like some of that like sort of nervous energy could go.
That's
Mhm.
awesome. I love that. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
That's that's so amazing. I think, sometimes we can get so hyper focused on like just the goal and exercise and what we're eating, and we forget like play, have fun, tap into your hobbies. And those
Slow
things can
down.
be really helpful. What was that,
Yeah.
Sheena?
Just saying the value in slowing down, right? Like your
Yes.
body needed to go slow and you honored that. Like it wasn't how fast can I get out of this recovery period? It was like it is
Mhm.
what it is. Like and again, like I think a cool lesson for you in this, Katie, I'm sure you've kind of learned to value your instincts. Like your instincts have been proven you right in your body for a long time.
Yep.
So that's pretty awesome.
And I just, I ate well. I focused on like I'm just gonna eat. Gwen, you made a comment after she's like, you went right back to tracking. I'm like, I did. I felt like I needed to like pay attention again to make sure I was eating enough.
Hmm.
Because I was more, stationary. I want to make sure like I'm eating enough to sustain myself. That I'm being thoughtful about it.
I love
Yeah,
that.
and
I love the eating enough. I think this just sorry, Gwen, this just reminded me of like I remember working with a client where she was worried about having her kids watch her like weigh and measure or track her food. And she was like, because she didn't, the thought process was like she felt like it was like the kids were gonna be watching her like she couldn't
Yep.
like she was having
Yep.
little. But I was like, "No, like, tell them, like, we are trying I wanna make sure I'm getting enough protein. I wanna make sure I'm
Mhm.
getting enough fruits and vegetables," right? Like, the limit the bar is up here. I wanna make sure I'm not down here. Like, I wanna get enough of that, and, like, I remember her eyes just being like, "Oh, that's true," and, like, so the fact that she could then pass that message on to her kids, right? Like, it's huge. Like, it's so I think, Katie, I just I love that. It's like, again, it's adequate and, like, what is adequate and appropriate for you, right? Um, because yeah, you're working your body hard, like, you have to make sure you have enough of the good things to support it, so sorry to interrupt, I remember
No,
that moment.
I love it. That's what's in our head though, right? Is like, "Oh,
Mhm,
what are my kids? What will other people think?" Because
mhm,
we're so focused on thinking that it's going to be a negative
mhm,
connotation, or because we're measuring, we're saying, "Oh, you can't have that much." It's like, "No, eat more. Your body needs more." Right?
mhm. Yep,
Abundance, not scarcity.
right.
And, I'll also point out, like, all this work that Katie did leading up to the surgery and taking care of her body allowed her to heal well. She was proud of herself. She's like, "I am so proud of the healing my body has done.
It's true.
Like, she made those choices, and then, that's the empowering piece. Like, she made the choice, and it's not just about weight loss or changing your body composition. She knew something was off in her body. She wanted to take care of her body. Surgery's a big deal. She did it. She's feeling even better now that she did that. So that was a big change. The alcohol. What else would you say was a one of the biggest shifts for you?
Well, just going to what you mentioned in terms of, like, getting myself ready for the surgery. I mean, I think that, like, combination of, like, eating intentionally plus supplements,
Mhm.
that were very much directed by you, Gwen. I felt like I went into the surgery with no, like, inflammation. Like, um, I felt really healthy going
Mhm.
into the surgery, and I set myself up for a rapid recovery,
Yeah.
because everything, my internal self was operating efficiently and not fighting whether, whether it was like, there's no processed food in my diet, and so, like, it wasn't like that there was processed food or alcohol or whatever that would have potentially, like, slowed down my
Mhm.
recovery process, and so I do think that, um, I sort of set myself up in a really good way to have the bounce that that I had, and that was my biggest fear going into the surgery. Was not the surgery itself, was, like, how quickly will I bounce back? Like, and what if I don't bounce?
Mhm. Yeah. You handled it beautifully. It was great.
Can I ask
What
about, can I ask some fitness questions? Some strength training
Sure.
or like yeah.
Go
So,
ahead.
Katie, let's say like prior to meeting Gwen, I mean, we talk about like appropriate and adequate.
Love
What was your fitness routine like? Just so we can kind of help like our listeners, like what was
yeah.
just get like an idea of like the frequency, what your weekly schedule was like, so people can kind of be like, oh, if she was working out that much and eating this much, like, am I in the same boat? And what does it look like now?
Sure. So strength training is pretty similar. I was strength training 2 or 3, often 3 days a week for an hour with a trainer.
Okay.
I think, before starting with Gwen, and she can attest to this, I was very hyper focused on cardio and how much cardio. Part of this was that I had previously been a runner and I'd had to stop because of a back injury. Um, and so, I was doing cardio, whether it was like bike or something else. Um, and I was shooting for like like 2 or like at least 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours a week, on top of my strength training.
Was this for enjoyment or for the calorie burn?
Oh, it was calorie burn.
Okay. Yeah.
It was, like, not enjoyment. I mean, like, I will say there were some brain benefits to it, but,
Sure.
like, it
Mhm.
was definitely for, like, "Oh, I need to do this or else." I mean, I think that it was the or else in my head,
Yeah.
that this is just what was required. I'm gonna work out 6 days a week, whether it hurt or not, and, like, this is just, I guess this is just where I am.
Mm.
Um, at the same time, I had, again, a doctor tell me, like, when I went to them saying, like, "Things are not working, like, I just don't understand why I'm gaining weight." Again, it was a female doctor said to me, "You're just not working hard enough." And so I was like, okay, like, I guess I need to do more. Like, I
Yeah.
guess I just need to keep doing
Yeah.
more." The more was not working. I did re-injure my back during sort of this period. I really tweaked it, and it took about 10 months for me to get back,
Wow.
working with a PT, and so that was a real trek on, like, "Okay, you gotta, like, this just isn't gonna be possible. Like, I know what you've been doing and, like, what you wanna do, but, like, okay, could maybe." um,
Yeah.
and so when I met you, about a year after I was stable. So,
Okay.
like, I had come back, but, like, again, like, I'm just working so hard trying to come back, trying to do everything. I will say now, I am still strength training 2 or 3 days a week, and it's great. Still with a personal trainer, and I value that so completely. I don't wanna do it on my own,
Yep.
and that's a combination of strength and endurance and balance.
Great.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Um, and then on my own, I will say that is what has changed, and I would say the intensity and the pressure to do it, I feel very different about it.
Yeah.
And so rather than it being like this minute focus, okay, like I need this certain minimum number in order for it to be okay, I'm more focused on, okay, like I want to make sure if I'm strength training 3 days a week, I have another four, like 7 days in a week, like there's another 4 days. Like, how do I want to fill that? But also, what does my body need? And
Mhm.
so I'm
Mhm.
trying to tune far more into my body in those in between days. And so I strength trained actually yesterday as well as today. I'm strength training again Thursday this week. Tomorrow is very likely either going to be a day off or I'll
Mhm.
do a half hour on the Peloton
Yep.
of not the hardest ride, like maybe a progressive ride, maybe like I would love it to like be like endurance, but it doesn't need to be like a half an hour like will be what I need
Yep.
to get done. Friday, I'm traveling, so that will be a day off.
Great.
Mhm.
Saturday, I would love to take a walk,
Nice.
Mhm.
like, where
Yeah.
I'm going,
Yeah.
and Sunday, I'm traveling again, so, like, that's the week. Now,
Yeah.
if I wasn't traveling, I probably would get another big Peloton ride in there. This past weekend, there was one day that my husband and I took a 3-mile walk with the dog. In the
Nice.
middle of that walk, we stood in line at a bakery so that my husband could get his sour cream coffee cake and I could get a cup of coffee,
Yeah.
um, before walking back. Like, it was definitely like a leisurely walk. I did have my
Mhm.
weight vest on, but that was about the extent of it being, a
Mhm.
power walk.
Yep.
Um, and then I came home and I got on the bike for a half an hour. Like, it was like, you know what? Like, I didn't totally, like, get everything I wanted from that walk. Like, I'll take a
Mhm.
half an hour. And
Mhm.
so it's just sort of trying to varying it. I find with my back injury, making it, the cardio different every day or, on the days that I do cardio is very helpful, that it just
Mhm.
doesn't strain it with that repetitive motion.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Wow. I love it. I love it. I think, I mean, I just, again, it comes down to like building your own routine, right? Like it's like this is what works for you. Like the food works for you. That exercise like setup, like and having it be flexible is probably very important to you, right? Like
Yeah.
because nobody's like, I mean, everybody comes to us and it's like, okay, what's the perfect program, right? Like what is it? And like your life is not going to be perfect. Like you are going to hit hiccups, you're going to hit travel, you're going to hit illnesses, you're going to hit work stuff. Like it has to be something that you are able to adapt. So like how beautiful for you to be like, okay, I can go for a walk today, or hey, I can go do a
Yep,
strength training session here. And all the while, like your food just supports that activity. And it's such a great place to be, right? And it's like I know Gwen and I always tell it like to our clients, like our whole goal is that like one day you don't need us because you like there's no more questions about like about
Mhm.
nutrition or about like how to do exercise the right way. It's like you just figure out what works for you and like we help you do that. And then it's like you're good. Like that's our whole goal. So I love that you're in a really like comfortable place.
yeah, I feel really, I mean, I will say, like, I was at the gym, strength training this morning and was doing a dumbbell press, and I was like, "You know what? I am strong." Like, I really, like, I sort of had that moment of like, these are very heavy and I am, pressing 50 pounds of dumbbells. Like,
Yeah.
this is a lot of weight.
Yeah.
I'm 57 years old. Like, I'm gonna be proud of that. Like,
Yeah.
that's like I've got serious muscle and
Yeah.
I'm gonna go push a sled. And
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
so,
Love it.
it's I feel my joke, but it's not a joke, is that we train for life.
You do.
And
Yeah.
and so when we travel, whether it is walking through the airport or climbing stairs, or I drive my kids crazy because, if I don't not lugging a bag, like, I will always take the stairs. I will never get on the people mover at the
No.
airports. I'm always going to, like, race the people mover just because I can. And they're
Yes.
like, "Just stop." And I'm like, "No, I have been sitting for 3 hours on an airplane, like, now I'm gonna walk up the set of stairs." Like,
Yeah.
I
What is it
just
saying
have
like about our human race that we need moving walkways? Like, are we seriously? That's where like we're just gonna like hang with you. Anytime we travel, I've got my 5-year-old kid with me. Like, if we go, Like we watch people on the walkways, and he knows. Like he's like
That
we go
drives
beside
me
we pick
crazy.
one person, and like we just see if we can beat him. Like there, maybe that makes us
Or
too
or if I
competitive.
do
But
get
like
on it, I walk on it. I'm like, I don't understand anyway. Like,
no,
I'm
no,
always gonna take the
yeah.
path of greater resistance.
Yeah. The stairs are
Well,
always available, and the escalators are like people are jammed in there for like
I
20 steps.
know.
Like, what are we doing? Get on the
I mean,
stairs.
if you have it's different if you have a rolling bag, like,
Sure. Yes.
like, there are
I get
times
it.
it's important, but
I get it. I know. But the people with the backpacks, come on. Let's go.
I
Anyway, not
know.
to be
Wow.
judgmental, but
Yeah, Katie, it just comes back to you trusting your instincts and your intuition. That example that you just gave of what your training looks like this week is you're fitting it into your real life. Like that's one of our mottos is real bodies, real life. You didn't try to force a strength training workout after you came back from that walk. You said to yourself, I'd like to do a little more. So you did a Peloton. And that's exactly like it's so beautiful to see that you've gotten to this point because I had totally forgotten that you were trying to get in so many hours of zone 2 cardio
yeah,
and that we were trying to pull back on that too.
and not even
And
zone 2, zone 3 or 4. Like, I was
oh,
like,
I totally forgot about
"Mm,
that. I mean,
oh,
so
no."
here we are telling her to back off on
I was in
cardio,
a I was
eat more
really
food.
yeah, I was really in a panic that I wasn't exercising enough, and
Mhm.
I literally, and you know this, Gwen, like, I had a chart, and I'm like, of how many minutes, not that I was exercising, but that how many minutes that I was getting into zone 3 and 4 or 5,
Right.
like, and so the fact that that is, like, that's just not a thing for me anymore, is, like, it's good enough.
yeah.
It's good
It's
enough.
funny
Yeah.
because, like, when you think about it, like, when I'm on the other side of this too, and, like, you maybe remember this from marathon training, right? It's like those zones exist for, like, endurance and heart rate, like, people to train those zones for, like, races and things like that, right? And, like, as females, we see them as, like, it's either fat burning or not, or I'm doing enough or I'm not. But, like, those zones, like, have nothing to do with calorie burn at all. But, like,
Mhm.
as females, we were, like, trained to think that they are. And, like, it's like trying to real it's just they shouldn't overlap like that the way they
Yeah.
do, and, like, it's just kind of bizarre to me, like, it's I don't know, but I love where your head's at now where it's like,
Yeah,
enjoy the
and
cardio
and
and, like, it's
and I
hard.
will the other sad thing I will say has been a very big reality in my life, and when we haven't talked a huge amount about this, but the back injury has been a really it has been a real limiting factor in terms of
Mhm,
my exercise. Like, I have been an athlete my entire life, in high school and college, like, I was a runner, like, the idea that this is, like, a limiting factor of, like, you just can't, like, I just can't. Like, it just really hurts.
yeah,
Mhm.
Um I will be, home in New York City in, a few weeks, and my gym in my building is closed, which I'm like, "Okay, like, so what am I gonna do? Like, what am I gonna do?" My usual MO is I will go to Cycle Bar when I'm in New York. I will admit, like, the last few times I've done Cycle Bar, as much as I love it and I love the energy of it, I usually hurt afterwards. Like, it's
Mm.
a lot on my back of because it is the jumping off the seat so much. And so I'm already thinking like, okay, like, if I do cycle bar, is there a compromise? Like, first of all, like, do I have to do it every day? Um, and could I do it and sit more? Right?
mhm,
Like, crank up the tension and sit
mhm,
more like a Peloton ride
yeah,
as opposed to the jumping,
mhm,
which is what really is aggravating to the back.
mhm,
And so it's really about, like, what's working now.
Right.
mhm,
That's great. And what's working now is such a great way to frame it because I think sometimes people, like Sheena was saying, people want a plan and they think that's it for the rest of your life. Like, okay, this is what I eat, this is how I exercise. And it's more about you learning what your body needs, when you need to rest, making those adjustments. Like you came up with that on your own. I didn't have to tell you that. You're like, okay, how can I make this cycling class work so it doesn't exacerbate my pain? I still feel good physically and emotionally from the workout. And that's you. Like you're the one who came up with that decision. And I've just seen such tremendous progress in your mindset and you calling it, the witches in the attic, which I'd never heard before. and and, you've done such a beautiful job of keeping them in the attic, quieting their voices, and, reframing. And how did you do it? Because you had so many potential opportunities to give up, to get frustrated and just say, "I'm done." And you just overcame obstacle after obstacle.
I would say it's not done.
Mhm.
The witches are there every day. Like, I would say, like, that it will be a lifelong struggle, that is about childhood and messages and, history, and I don't think that's ever going away, and so I would say, like, of all things is just owning that that's there, like, it's quieting those voices and knowing that, I can say to them, "You know what? Not now.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Not now," or, like, "You're okay."
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, and just being okay with the process, um, of where I am right now. So I don't know, like, someone said to me, like, "It's better than the like, it's so trite, like, "It's better than the alternative." Well, yeah, like, I'm here, I'm healthy, I'm strong, like, I'm gonna take this version, and I don't wanna shortchange it, um, because in 10 years, I wanna look back and go, "Okay, like, I know what's gonna happen." Like, I'm gonna look back at 57, at 67 and go, "Okay, like, I was so, like, fit and strong," and I'm hoping at 67 I'm similarly, but that will
Mhm.
look a little different than it does now.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Um, but I think that I'm gonna be around for a long time. My dad is turning
Yeah.
90 in a couple weeks. Um, I have a feeling that I will have similar longevity knowing how much I take after him, and, um, it's training for life. Like, I wanna be here. I wanna hopefully play with grandbabies on the floor,
Yes.
Mhm.
um, for a long time.
That's beautiful.
Fantastic.
I was gonna
That's a
ask, like, so do you said you had a daughter, right?
I have
You have
2 kids. Yeah.
you okay. One of my best friends, like, one of her favorite things to ask is, like, if your kids had your life, your body, your mental, like, the way you talk to yourself, how you felt in your body, if they had that at your age, would you be happy for them? Like, if they could feel as good as you feel now, or would you want more from
Oh.
you know what I mean?
Well, or, the opposite just makes me sad. Like, if, like, I'll reframe your question, which
Yeah.
is, like, would you ever say to your daughter, your son, the things that you've said to yourself over the
Mm.
years? Like, "Oh my god, no,
Right.
no."
Right.
Like, what I wish for them is happy, healthy, productive. Like, that's in general.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Um, and so want I want those 3 things above all else for them, and I want them to, um, s be, like, self-affirming.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Um, and, one of the things I am so proud, especially with a daughter, is that she is strong in her body, she is strong in her mind, that she has POTS, and so she has to be very purposeful about food,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and nutrition as well as things like salt. And I see her, and by the way, she has become a really good cook, and she has taken that from me because I do like to cook.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm so proud of how she is managing nutrition and food and body image. And that's been a journey for her as well. And
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
I do feel like there's been some unintentional garbage that's been passed, generationally,
Mhm.
that she's had to come through.
Mhm.
And then I'm super proud of where she is.
Well, I think clearly you've been a wonderful role model. Even, I mean, just your own journey maybe hasn't been as perfect, or maybe not the way you would have drew it up, but like the things you're doing now, like she's seeing those, right? And like your son is
Mhm.
too. And it's just, I think that's incredible. So,
They both see, I mean, she definitely sees more than my son. She definitely sees that, like, it's still a journey. Like,
hmm
it's still, like, it never ends. Like, I'm still working. She knows how hard I work.
hmm
Um,
yeah,
and, I think that that's good messaging. Like, that
absolutely.
this is, this is life.
Yeah.
Yeah. and you're feeling confident about your longevity and a great role model to your kids, and, you're healthy and happy, strong, lean, like all of the things. So, one of the things, Katie just came back from a trip to Africa with her family, and she was talking about training for life, and it reminded me of a couple of pictures she shared with me, and one was her climbing a tree, and
Yes.
it was just so symbolic of, her moving and being able to do all the things she wants to do, and even her family, they were, kind of a little scared, "What are you doing? Don't be careful." And, like, just climbing the tree, and she truly has been climbing a tree the past 8 to 9 months of us working together, and she
Yeah.
had the biggest smile on her face. And then there was another picture where she was on a Jeep, and she was, like, kind of at the highest level of any of her family members. She was on the hood of the Jeep and just smiling so big, and it was almost like she was looking at her pack, her family, and watching over them, but she was triumphant,
Yeah.
and,
Oh,
those pictures really just symbolized all you've been through in the past months that we've worked together, and how you came out of this. Even though there's more work to do, what a great 8 to 9 months, and how you've transformed your mindset, your body, and your life. And it was just such a pleasure working with you.
Well, it's been great. I'm super grateful and I'm still going. Like tomorrow I'm going for my DEXA scan, Gwen. So I'll keep you posted.
cool.
Great.
Love it.
Good. So,
Awesome.
Katie, to finish up, I would just say, what would your advice be to other women who are, in their 50s, in menopause, trying to eat less, exercise more? Maybe they're in the same situation as you. What would your advice be to them?
I would first of all, like trust your intuition. I think that that is a big deal. Like if a provider, whether they're in a white coat, whether they're at your gym, like wherever they are, like if they're giving you advice that does not feel like it is sound, trust
Mhm.
your intuition because you probably know more than you think you know. And I think like if I could go back, like I would definitely do that.
Mhm.
Um, I would say like just be aware. I think that the chatter about perimenopause and menopause that is happening now um, is so helpful. And, um, like lean into whatever is comfortable, but know that like it's not just you, like it's just not you. Like that, like this is a real thing. Like
Mhm.
it is happening.
Mhm.
It is not just about working harder. It's really about like what are the things that are going to work, and it's okay and necessary to ask for help. Um, so and the last is just keep moving. Just keep moving.
Keep moving. Love it. Great advice. Thank you so much. Anything
Sure.
else you want to share?
No, I think I've shared plenty.
Hey, thank you.
Katie,
So
thank you. It's been really awesome hearing about your story, and congratulations on all your success. And I look forward to hearing more about how you're doing with Gwen. So
Thanks.
awesome job.
Thank you.
thank you.
Bye.
All right.